Omega, you are on fire. I mean, last year you introduced one of the most complicated Omega Speedmasters we've ever seen in the history of the collection. And at the start of the year, you decide to come out with AKA the Bumble-bee. I see you. Hey YouTube, welcome to another episode on the Watch Factor. If you're new to the channel, welcome. This is a place where we talk about all things related to the watch industry. We talk about watch reviews, and we even have an opportunity to have special guests, and we talk a little bit about their individual watch collections. Now, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. It helps us to continue to grow our community and bring impressive content like this to you multiple times during the week. So let's get started. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the latest release by Omega. And if you were thinking about it hard and long, you've guessed it right. It's another Omega Speedmaster, but this time, a very unique Omega Speedmaster that I think you're going to enjoy. One thing I love so much about the watch industry is that collectors are quick to don a watch remodel or new release with a nickname of such. And so there's no reason to assume that they wouldn't do it with this one. So this Speedmaster that actually is called the Super Racing Coaxial Master Chronometer has been affectionately nicknamed AKA the Bumble-bee. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit as to why that nickname kind of hits on so well. Now, at first glance, the aesthetics of this Speedmaster kind of gives a nod back to the historical Speedmasters that were released with the partnership with Michael Schumacher, the legendary race car driver, where you would see sort of this kind of racetrack style chapter ring. But with those models, they came in with a variety of different colorway variations, extremely colorful. And this one is a little bit different, but you can kind of see that historical nod and kind of a tipping your hat off to that style of a design aesthetic. So let's look at the dial for a second. What you'll notice is that the date window comes in at the 6 o'clock position and it has a beautiful font, kind of known for Omegas, but in this time, it's actually yellow tone. There are two sub registers, one at 3 o'clock and one at 9, but they're slightly recessed. And at a closer look, you'll also notice that the hands associated to the sub registers actually are different from each other. On the 3 o'clock sub register, the hands are yellow tone, but on the 9 o'clock one, it kind of looks like a racing stripe, a mix of yellow and black kind of striping that goes on that hand. So it's a very well interesting layout. Now the dial is subdued, but it's also intense. It's kind of got that matte finish, but there's actually a honeycomb pattern associated to the dial. And then the classic tachymeter scale also has a couple elements. Now, the scale is actually in ceramic, but it also has these yellow tones to kind of make this vibrant kind of color kind of pop a little bit. And I kind of love the way they kind of played with the dark and the yellow as a great contrast. Now, the watch is hefty. I didn't do it, and I'm kind of curious as to why Omega is kind of going down this path with these larger size cases, but the watch comes in at 44.25 millimeters, so it's a big boy, and it's over 14 millimeters thick, something totally different from the watches of old where your speedies came in at 38 and 39 mils, or even at like 42 with this professional. So I'm kind of curious what your thoughts are on that, because I'm wondering if that's going to be something that pulls purists away from looking into this watch and potentially making a transaction on it. Now, in addition to the overall aesthetic, which is classic but also different and very appealing, it's really about what's under the hood. Omega has decided to continue down the path of leveraging their master chronometer movements. These are movements that are pretty much certified meta, which is kind of one of the highest type of certifications for accuracy that exists in the watch industry. And I believe this movement is caliber 9920. We're talking about an accuracy of 0 to +2 seconds per day. just something that's extremely phenomenal. But what's also really impressive about this movement is the fact that they've also introduced one of their latest advances in their technology. And this is called the Spirate System. Now, the Spirate System, to my knowledge, kind of stands for spiral and rate. And I'll kind of explain a little bit about why that's coming into fruition. Basically, it's a regulator and a micro adjuster to the actual hairspring. So if you're thinking of how do I go about trying to regulate, let's say, the rate of the hairspring to make it even more accurate, there's actually a micro adjuster that sits on top of the hairspring that allows you to make those adjustments. 0.1. I mean, just a really impressive advancement in technology for where they're trying to go with Omega. And you could kind of say they're chipping away at being able to say that we're playing with horology. In my mind, I kind of think that's where they're going, especially with some of the watches that they released between Q3 and Q4 of last year. So this Speedmaster is definitely a tool watch and meant to be something used for either racetrack or just, tracking time and such. So very impressed with kind of where they're going. So additional aspects about the watch. The watch has a power reserve of 60 hours. It's 54 joules. There's a sapphire crystal as well as a sapphire crystal exhibition case back. So you can see not only that movement, but also that adjusting, that ability for that micro adjuster that can be seen through the actual window. The watch is packaged to the execution that we expect for Omega. Beautiful box. It also comes on a steel bracelet and a NATO strap that matches the color wave of the actual dial. Now, the price point of the watch, I believe in Swiss francs, is just shy of 10,500. I might be off a couple $100. You can look at the website, and the website also will show, as we did kind of in this video, a little bit of that Spirate system and kind of go into a little bit about the accuracy and ability to actually adjust the tension, if you will, for that mainspring. My overall opinion, it's a great watch. Omega continues to advance its focus on the Speedmaster, and I love the fact that they're playing a little bit to both storylines or both narratives. The Omega Speedmaster is a racing watch, but it's also a moon watch, and trying to kind of continue to provide collectors a taste of both aspects of this watch from a historical relevance. Price point, it is what it is. I mean, will it hold its value at that point? Maybe out the gate. So I do think over time that price will kind of settle down, probably somewhere into the $7,500 realm or so for the watch. I think if you are a purist to the Speedmaster, you love the fact that it still has that DNA. We've seen speedies that go into a wide variety of color variations, some so far away from that traditional black and white that you kind of just don't know. But I think this one executed it well. I still love the kind of pump pusher for the chronograph, and the fact that we're continuing to leverage this new technology and make sure that these watches have this certified Metis movement. So drop a comment in here. Let me know what you think of this watch. Is this something that you would go after? Is it more of the same, or do you appreciate the fact that Omega is starting to try to leverage more technology around its base movements? I'd love to hear your feedback and thoughts, but until next time, you guys take care, and I'll see you again.